Welcome to the studio, Professor Daniel.
It's good to be back.
Yes, good to have you back. Today we're going to be talking about all things housing.
We are, yes. So since it's cold outside, I figure we should turn inwards and look at where we live.
Yes, that's right. 요즘에 와서 참 겨울철인데 밖은 추운데 그래도 아주 작아도 집이 있는 게 너무 감사한 거예요.
저도요. 아무리 작아도 집에 가는 거 얼마나 좋은데.
That's right. And everybody, says when they 해외 여행을 해도 요즘은 못 하는데 if you go out, even to that other city or your friend's house 그리고 도로 집으로 오면 집이 좋다라고 많이 하죠.
본인 집이 제일 좋은 곳이죠.
Most comfortable.
Agreed.
Just the most, warm place to be in. Even if it's, teeny tiny. But,
Exactly. And even if it's cold physically, it warms your heart.
Yes.
마음까지 따뜻해지는 집이죠.
맞아요. 근데 또 there's a lot of things that we can complain about our house as well and also the housing market.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
복잡하죠.
네, 그래서 준비해봤는데요. 오늘의 퀴즈입니다. 다음 중 국립국어원이 house poor를 국어로 바꾼 것으로 알맞은 것을 고르시오. 1번 주택 가난, 2번 불쌍한 집, 3번 내 집 빈곤층인데요. 정답을 아시는 분은 샵 1013으로 단문자 50원, 장문자 100원, 유료 문자 보내주시면 추첨을 통해서 커피 쿠폰 드리겠습니다. 오늘 굉장히 좀 어려운 것 같은데요.
맞습니다.
For me, even.
For everyone here.
Just even if this was in English, I'd be like,
It's tough. Yeah.
what? Different language, different subject. 힌트를 드리자면 house poor. 집은 일단 있어요. 근데 왜 poor? 일까요?
이유가 여러 가지죠.
Yes, and we'll talk about those EUs, those reasons in just a bit.
We sure will, right? So.
근데 저희가 준비해봤는데요. 상황극을 준비해봤어요. And this is basically how a conversation would go if you were looking for a house.
Exactly.
In Korea.
At a real estate agent.
그렇죠.
Right. So, 시작해볼까요?
네.
Sounds good. So, 어서 오세요, 푸니타 선생님. 천재 공인 중개사입니다.
안녕하세요. 아파트 좀 보러 왔는데요.
이 지역 임장은 다녀보셨나요?
아니요. 처음 와봤어요.
오, 그런가? 네. 어떤 형태의 아파트를 찾으세요?
아이가 있어서 초품아였으면 좋겠고요. 요즘 스타일의 타워형이었으면 해요.
있습니다. 얼마 전에 분양이 되었지만 마피가 붙은 아파트가 있는데 혹시 보시겠어요?
네, 좋아요. 전용 면적이 어떻게 되나요?
84제곱미터입니다.
오, 그럼 준공한 지 얼마나 되었나요?
준공한 지 2년밖에 안 된 신축 아파트입니다.
오, 와우. 혹시 특이사항이 있나요?
매수자 분께서 절대 다운 계약은 안 된다고 하십니다.
그래요? 알겠습니다. 좀 더 임장 다녀보고 다시 올게요.
네, 다녀오세요.
Wow, we are so
fun.
polite.
We are, yes. A little bit of egg thrown in, I think, right?
That's right. I don't know if you'll have the most friendliest real estate agent.
The ones I've met, and I've met a few, are usually super nice. Like, they'll play with the kids. They'll give me coffee.
Okay.
They're super nice. They're there to make your life as comfortable as possible.
Well, they're trying to sell, so they better be. Some of them are, this is, across cultures as well. 또 좋은 걸 걸리면, 좋은 사람이 걸리면 너무 기분 좋고
맞죠.
그렇잖아요. And there's more 신뢰감, there's more trust.
신뢰감 생기면 좋죠.
When somebody's nice to you and they're not too eager to sell, 막 속 보일 만큼 그렇게 막 하면 또 안 되는데 또
맞죠.
반면으로는 there's people who are just like, don't really care.
아무 관심 없는 중개사나 뭐
그쵸.
그런 거 좀 문제가 되죠. 네.
But in any case, we're not talking about those personalities.
No, we're just talking about the real estate market in general.
So I understood nothing.
That's fine. That's why we're here. So.
I just read the script.
Very well, I may add. So,
Yes, thank you.
So, I guess we should start off with the idea of a 부동산 사무실 there.
Okay.
So, the fancy word for it, like a real estate agent, would be 공인중개사. Like publicly certified real estate agent,
Okay.
I guess, yeah.
Right.
Real estate mediator. So, you'd want to go to one, and ours is called 천재 because
한국어천재.
천재. We're the genius show here, right? So, and you, of course, came to look at some apartments, right? So,
That's
some
right.
apartments there. So, now there are a couple of other interesting kind of places you could live in Korea, like a villa, a mansion, a one room, or an office tel as well. But for our purposes today, 아파트 was seemed like the easiest choice there. And now I asked you a question there. Do you remember the question I asked you there?
You asked me what kind of apartment? Like up till there, I understood.
Gotcha. So 어떤 형태의 아파트를 찾으세요? So right now in Korea, kind of the big trend going around is people are showing a preference for 타워형 아파트. So let me give you the opposite of that. Like the kind of stereotypical apartment, the type I live in here, is a much simpler type called 반상형, where it's just basically in a straight line. Like you go in, you turn
일자로.
left, you turn, yeah, exactly. 일자로, right? So, and then 타워형, there would be like a 기역자 kind of, so you turn left, you turn right. It's more complicated, the setup. So,
Right. So I guess in older houses, there would be the design or the layout of the house would just be a hallway.
a hallway, exactly. Rooms on each side, 반상형.
Nothing really special about it.
It works.
Right. And so the view is basically the same as well.
Big windows on each side. Yeah.
Big windows, and you don't really have a variety of what to look at or
Exactly, right.
anything like that. That's fine. But nowadays, as you said, the style has changed to either a 기역 or a 니은. 또
exactly.
집이 크면 디귿자로.
옛날 집처럼. Sure, right? So,
Yeah.
Very fancy, right? So, so apparently you expressed a preference for 타워형 there, and that makes sense. It looks a little more sophisticated, more like a
Trendy.
hotel room. Yeah,
Sure.
I'd say so. And then let's see. Ooh, the next point was really interesting. So I said we had an apartment just for you, but it was a 마피 type apartment.
Yes.
So, now, what would this mean? This is an acronym here, an abbreviation, I guess.
줄임말.
줄임말이죠. So 이거 바로 마이너스 프리미엄입니다.
Okay.
So let me give just a little bit of background for maybe people who are not familiar, maybe overseas listeners, or if you're not a Korean speaker. So the term premium there refers to what you would pay above and beyond the official apartment price, like to buy the rights to that apartment. So when Korean apartments are sold, they're sold through what's called pre-sales, which are bun양 or bun양가. That would be the pre-sale price. And then if it's a really nice place, people will pay a little bit extra. That's the premium. But this apartment, unfortunately, or fortunately for you, there's a minus premium. So it's actually going for less than the sticker price.
So whatever it may be, it's not gained as much momentum as people thought.
Maybe location, maybe facilities.
Maybe there was supposed to be a 지하철, but then the plans backed out.
Now there's only a 급행 bus.
Right.
Still good. Right?
Still good, but for whatever reason, it's less than what the sticker price is, which
Exactly.
means that's better for me
It
because
sure is.
I am 초품아.
초품아, you have a kid and you're looking for an apartment that has a school nearby. So 초품아, another acronym here, which stands for 초등학교를 품은 아파트.
Aha.
Right next to an elementary school. So,
I want a 초품아.
they're usually nice too. Good neighborhoods, nice and quiet.
Sure, very residential and things like that. And usually in Korea, when we talk about size, we would go from, 평수, but nowadays it's the square meter.
It's all square meters.
This is
exactly.
great.
It's nice and easy. And some popular sizes I would say would be 84 제곱미터, 59, 59 square meters, larger ones, smaller ones, etc. So, yeah.
Right. But then 이것도 약간 실평수랑 그냥 평수랑 다른.
다르죠. 네, 약간 다르죠. 네.
So there's the 전용 면적 and then.
그거는 발코니 제외한 거실, 주방,
I
화장실, 다 안방이나 다른 방 포함한 공간만. Then there's also the 공용 면적, which is, I guess, inclusive of common areas. So like the stairwell, the elevator, the hallways, etc. I mean, you can put your bikes out there and stuff, but for me, I pay more attention to the 전용 면적.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a preference to a type of housing?
Size or just general type?
Yeah.
I've lived in all types. I mean, I've lived in one room, me too, like a mini two room. I've lived in a two room.
Me too가 mini two room이에요.
미니 two room이죠. 네네. One room보다 크지만 two room보다 약간 작은
그쵸?
사이즈죠. 오피스텔도 as well. So kind of a fancy one. Right. So.
2인분 같은 1인분 그런 느낌인가요?
맞죠. 네, 식당 갈 때. 그렇죠. Exactly right.
Not really that amount, but
Exactly right.
it gets the job done.
It sure does, yes. So but I would say, Korean apartment living living is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm beginning to see why it's so popular. It's just so much more convenient.
Exactly.
And also
Safer,
safe.
warmer. Right.
그쵸.
지하 주차장도 있고. 뭐
맞아요.
놀이터도 있고.
Yes, and maybe that's the reason why people become house poor. 퀴즈 다시 한번 드리겠습니다. 다음 중 국립국어원이 house poor를 국어를 바꾼 것으로 알맞은 것을 고르시오. 1번 주택 가난인가요? 2번 불쌍한 집인가요? 아니면 3번 내 집 빈곤층인가요? 정답 아시는 분은 샵 1013으로 단문자 50원, 장문자 100원, 유료 문자 보내주시면 추첨을 통해서 커피 쿠폰 드리겠습니다. So let's move on. We've seen the different types of houses there.
We sure have.
그럼 마음 드는 거 있어요. 찜했어요. 그러면 계약하러.
계약하면 되죠. 네, 임대 계약이나 뭐 매매 계약이든, right? So you can rent the place or buy it depending on your budget and what you're looking for. And another important point there was the 준공, the term 준공. So when was construction completed? I would say. So in this case, the apartment I was going to show you or construction finished just 2 years ago. So it's a 신축 아파트. So pretty much brand new. Yeah.
Newly built apartment. Getting in a message. Adrian Linga says, oh, come to think of apartments, I also heard this term 고시원 rooms.
A very unique type of housing, particularly for, I guess, students studying for exams. Yeah, I know there are many in Koreangenius. I'm sure other areas as well. So
Kind of like the dorms vibe.
exactly, yeah. Kind of a private dorm, I'd say. Yeah.
What's included? Does it have like full option in certain cases?
As far as I know, typically this doesn't go for all. I've never lived in one, but I would say you would share like laundry facilities, the kitchen, and the toilet facilities.
Okay.
But you would have your own room.
I see.
And it includes like heating and all that, as far as I know.
Okay.
And then if you want food included, go for a hasukjip.
Oh.
Which I've read a lot about, but also never lived in.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, lucky for you then, I guess.
I kind of missed out.
Sure, maybe, yeah.
Wish I had, kind of, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, if you experienced it, then it's a win-win situation.
Exactly.
If you haven't, then it's also like, but at least I, have experienced other different types of housing. And when you do enter a contract with whoever the seller is,
Yes.
there's 3 different stages.
There are, yes. So whether it's 월세, 전세, or 매매, what you need to do first is put a down payment. So that would be 계약금, which basically means the contract payment. Yeah, putting a down payment on like a little security deposit, as it were.
Right. And that could be, like 10%.
5 to 10%, yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Sometimes more if it's a really place is selling like hotcakes. And then later on, if you're buying an apartment, you would also need to put down the 중도금, which means kind of an intermediary payment. Yeah.
Intermediary.
Intermediate, kind
Is
of
that
in
the
the middle there.
official English word?
Probably not. Don't shoot the messenger here. But
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Put you on the spot.
No, not at all. But typically, if you're taking out a mortgage, which is of course a 모기지 loan or 주담대, right? 주택담보대출, then the bank would pay that part, and you would just be paying interest. And
Right.
then at the end, you have to pay the remaining payment, which is quite literally 잔금.
잔금. 그럼 잔금이 계약금이랑 중도금을 뺀 나머지의 그 총 매매 금액이라고 볼 수 있죠.
맞죠. 마지막에 그 입주 전에 입주 청소나 키 받기 전에 그 내야 될 금액은 바로 잔금입니다. 네.
Right.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, there's a lot of different things to talk about, but let's go back to our quiz question.
Absolutely. Yes.
And we're going to break it down for our listeners. 저도 이게 처음 들어본 단어인데요. House poor. And I've heard that actually, even in America, there's a lot of these doctors and lawyers that have almost these $1 million jobs, but they have the, $1 million lifestyle, but not the $1 million bank account.
It comes in, it goes out, right?
Just, very easily. 아주 쉽게 돈을 쓰기 때문에 약간
easy come, easy go.
저출할 수 있는 그런 게 없더라고요.
여유가 없네.
그렇죠. So I think many people living in Seoul as well might have this problem.
Absolutely. I've heard there's another term, I don't want to give too much away, but there's also, from what I've heard, the term 렌트푸아. 특히
Yes.
요즘에. So just 비싼 월세로 가난해진 가난해진 느낌. Right? So that can be an issue too.
월세 때문에, I remember the most that I've ever paid was 150만 원.
월세로?
Yes, per month. That was the most I've ever paid. And 그거 너무 아까운 거예요.
맞죠, 맞죠.
It's such a waste to be 남의 주는 돈이잖아요.
맞죠.
You're giving
다시
away.
볼 수 없는 돈이죠.
Yes, and 그것도 사실 낮은 편이래요.
맞죠. 서울이면 요즘. 맞죠.
Some people, like I know one of my friends live in 강남역 바로 근처여가지고 한 달에
초익세권이죠. Right.
300만 원.
보증금도 얼마겠죠?
Yes.
상상도
That is
못하겠습니다.
rent poor.
That is rent poor. I agree. Right. However much you make, that's a lot of money. Right.
Right. So basically, most of your income, if it goes to your house payment, whether it's your mortgage, your rent, or anything like that, you can call yourself house poor. Or another chance people say house rich, cash poor.
Ah, gotcha. So you got the place to live, but
Nothing
통장은
else.
좀,
그래서 그 신종 코로나 바이러스 감염 중 코로나19, COVID-19 유행이 장기화되면서 우울감에 빠지는 코로나 블루의
아이고.
원인이 부동산 블루이라고 하는데요.
아이고 연결돼 있구나.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that, because people aren't also making enough money or as much money as they did before.
Economy's going through a rough patch for sure. Right, so.
Definitely going down. And so maybe that could have been a hint for our listeners for the quiz. Once again, we'll give it out. 다음 중 국립국어원이 하우스 푸어를 국어로 바꾸는 것으로 알맞은 것을 고르시오. 1번 주택 가난, 2번 불쌍한 집, 3번 내 집 빈곤층입니다. 정답 아시는 분은 샵 1013으로 단문자 50원, 장문자 100원, 유료 문자 보내주시면 추첨을 통해서 커피 쿠폰 드리겠습니다. All right, well, let's move on and switch things up a bit, shall we?
Absolutely, yes.
You brought in a clip from the movie 사도.
I did, yes. Now, I have not seen this movie, but I feel it's a pretty strong clip. So,
Okay.
Have a listen. Right? So.
나는 지금 가장으로서 애비를 죽이려고 한 자식을 처분하는 것이야.
Oh, hey.
Oh my gosh.
Super intense.
That was. Yes.
뭐라고 하셨죠?
한번 읽어보겠습니다. So, 나는 가장으로서 애비를 죽이려고 한 자식을 처분한 것이야.
I know a couple words here. 가장 and 애비.
애비, exactly. So 가장 is the head of the family. In this case, could be the dad, could be the mom, could be someone else. But I'm guessing since it was a male voice, he's probably the dad there.
Sure.
And then 애비 is another word for dad. So 아비 or 아버지 there. So as a dad, what else was interesting there? Yeah.
처분하다 is something that I didn't understand. So 나는 가장으로서, me, for myself as the head of a household, 애비를 죽이려고 한 자식을 처분한 것이야.
So he's gotten rid of a kid, right? So in this case, 처분하다 would mean to get rid of or dispose of or somehow do away with. Why? To kill off his dad or to kill dad. Pretty rough stuff there. Ouch. Yeah. So, right.
Sure. So this is basically talking about the difficulties of being the head of a household.
I imagine, yeah, I'd have to definitely need to watch the movie, but I'm guessing talking about the difficulties involved in making tough choices there. So.
Yeah, certainly. Getting some more messages. 2021님께서는 네, 공급 면적은 공용 면적과 전용 면적 포함한 면적이죠. 오늘 주제 너무 도움이 됩니다. 다시 듣기 할게요. 라고 보내는데요. 저도 다시 듣기를 해야 조금 더 익숙하게 들을 수 있을 것 같아요. 지금 처음 들어봐도 막 이게 이 단어가 뭔지 you just don't
어려운
understand
거 많죠,
it.
솔직히.
정말 어렵죠.
어느 나라 가도 뭐
That's
비슷합니다.
right. And I think I was only be able to understand it just because this year I was looking for houses.
You're in the same boat then,
Right.
right?
So
yeah,
just
right.
a little bit familiar more for me. So hopefully it did help a lot of our listeners learn about these Korean terms, even if they are Korean themselves.
Of course, yes.
And of course in English as well. Thank you once again, Professor Dan, for being in the studio.
Always a pleasure.